My name is Ariana and I will be doing the science behind coffee. Americans drink 400 million cups of coffee per day, making the U.S. the leading consumer of coffee. Coffee beans actually start as a plant, and this tree is grown between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. And there are two types of species of a coffee plant. One is called Robusta and the other is called Arabica. The fruit, known as the coffee cherry, are then picked by hand or machine. There are two methods for drying the beans. One method is called the dry method, where the beans are laid out in the sun to dry, which uses little machinery, and the other method is called the wet method. This method uses special equipment to pulp the beans and squeeze the cherry so the flesh and skin are separated from the bean. Before being exported, parchment coffee is processed by huling, polishing, grading, and sorting. The beans are then reviewed for imperfections. Then they get passed through a series of screens and removed by hand or machine. The beans, now known as milled beans, are then exported or loaded onto ships. The beans are now roasted, and the green coffee beans turn into what we buy today at the store, the brown beans. The beans are being roasted. They begin to turn brown in caffeole, and an oil inside the beans begin to emerge. This process is called pyrolysis. The beans are then grinded, and finally you can brew the coffee and you can finally drink it. The chemistry behind coffee. Water composition is important to ensure the right amount of acids, bases, sugars, and starches extracted from the coffee bean roast. The flavor of the coffee is determined by the level to which the water extracts the chemicals from the ground beans. Basically, you must ensure that you use the right quality of water. The aroma of coffee has over 1,000 compounds, for example, antioxidants, deterpents, furan, and orchotoxin A. The different compounds are produced during the roasting of the coffee beans. Most of these compounds decompose proteins and sugars, then react to form the volatile compounds that give coffee its smell. The chemicals in coffee are ethylphenol, decafeoquinic acid, acetylmethylcarbonyl, putrescine, trigonelline, niacin, theophylline, quinic acid, dimethyl disulfide, caffeine, and water. The variables that determine the coffee results are the coarseness of the grind. Basically, the finer the coffee grinds, the greater the surface area in contact with water. The temperature of the extraction, or the temperature of the coffee. The temperature affects the solubility of caffeine and influences the solubility of organic acids in water. And also the duration of extraction, or the duration of making the coffee. The ideal cup of coffee is the one that has maximum amounts of volatile oils and caffeine, but limited amounts of organic acids. And the coffee to water ratio is basically little coffee is a weak tasting coffee, and too much coffee and little water is a strong tasting coffee. There are health benefits of coffee, and there are also risks of coffee. Coffee may help you lose weight. It contains magnesium and potassium, which helps the human body use insulin, regulating blood sugar levels and reducing your craving for sugary treats. The risk of coffee. One risk of coffee is that bad coffee can be toxic, and the bad quality of coffee can have a lot of impurities in it, which can cause sickness. In conclusion, coffee is good and bad. It can be bad because it can be toxic, but it can be good because it can brighten your day. And here's my bibliography.